Interesting fact is that once the female lays her eggs, the males only have 20 seconds for the sperm to enter the egg before the moat or the hole closes up. It's a wonder any of these koi actually get fertilized. Creating the ultimate koi setup is crucial for successful breeding. It's a delicate process that requires attention to detail. A well-designed spawning setup can make all the difference between success and failure, and that's what we're going to focus on today. Overlook this next fact and all our hard work will be in vain. But before we start spawning, the female must be preconditioned to be able to spawn. She needs 1000 degree days to spawn. So 50 days at 20 degrees C is 1000 degree days. These days are when the water temperature is over 18 degrees C. She needs this warm water and a high protein diet to mature her eggs to ripen and be ready for spawning. The female koi is the driving force in the mating game. It is she who decides if she will lay her eggs and when. If she deems conditions are not right, she will not spawn. The males are just there to fertilize her eggs. So we must satisfy her requirements for her to spawn. So where do koi spawn in the wild? In tranquil lakes, in shallow warm water, with weeds to protect her fry, with little or no water movement. The warm water helps her offspring grow quickly and survive, which is a basic need. The weeds provide somewhere for her to stick her eggs to and not get washed away. The weeds also provide hiding places for the fry to hide from predators, both from the air and in the water. A key insight is the importance of proper water circulation, which helps to distribute heat and oxygen evenly throughout the pond. We can spawn in our main pond, but it's far easier to manage and set up a spawning pond. This can act as a fry pond to rear the fry after spawning. A 2-meter show vat is ideal. With water out of the tap, put all the equipment in: spawning net, spawning brushes, heater, pump, air stones, etc., and sterilize the lot in one go and check all is working and running okay. Then empty the pond and refill with 60 cm of water through a water purifier, or use a dechlorinator to make the water safe for the koi. Leave the water 3 days to mature with the air on and the filter running, and test the heater. Do not use glass heaters as they break, and check for leaks. A gentle aeration over several air stones is ideal. We are aiming for a tranquil place with good oxygen content, not a volcanic eruption of air. Likewise, if you have a filter pump, which I would recommend, have a splash returned. The koi will not spawn if they are constantly swimming just to stay in the same place. We're looking for a gentle water movement and not a whirlpool effect. I also have a slow trickle of fresh water in through a water purifier and an overflow to help with water parameters. I also put a net to cover the pond to keep the koi in and predators out. 3 days before a full moon, I place the males in the morning in the pond and then place the female in mid-afternoon at 3 p.m-ish. They usually spawn within 3 days. One critical tip that can make or break koi spawning is the importance of timing. Koi are seasonal breeders, and understanding their natural breeding cycle is vital for successful spawnings. Koi are sensitive to daylight hours and time their spawnings to the longest days of summer. By synchronizing your breeding efforts with this natural breeding cycle, you can increase your chances of success. In summary, the female must have 1,000-degree days before spawning. We must satisfy all her requirements so that she will spawn. Warm 23°C shallow water with a depth of 60 cm with gentle aeration. Slow water movement with a pump and filter with splash return. Lots of spawning ropes or brushes on which she can lay her eggs. 4 or more attentive males or suitors to fertilize her eggs. As we have ticked off all her requirements, she will spawn. Usually koi spawn within a couple of days. Top tip: you can tell when a female has finished spawning as she does a handstand. This is the female equivalent of "I have a headache." I normally remove the males first and give the female an hour to relax and recuperate after her ordeal. After an hour, once the eggs have hardened, I do a heavy water change. No need to use a water purifier as the eggs are bomb-proof. But top tip, remember the newly hatched fry are very sensitive to chlorine and heavy metals in our water supply. You can also use methylene blue to disinfect the eggs and stop any fungus forming on the unfertilized eggs. So once the eyes are seen in the eggs, change the trickle over to a water purifier. Koi eggs hatch after 100 hours at 23°C, or about 3 days. The warmer the water, the quicker they hatch. I use the spawning pond as a nursery pond for the fry, so a gentle aeration is essential, with some form of water filtration in place. Make sure that there is a fine net on the pump to avoid sucking up and mincing all your hard-earned fry. Once the fry hatch, they are in fact a larvae and hang on to the sides and spawning ropes, but are nearly impossible to see, just like fine shards of glass. They live off the egg sac for 24 hours, and once they come to the surface and have a gulp of air, they become free-swimming fry. As soon as the fry are free-swimming, you can start selecting for Showa and Shirutsuri by selecting all the darker fry. The rest are rejected. I use a fry sucker, which is a vacuum pump to suck up the fry. It is so much quicker than a net, but it still takes weeks to sort through thousands of fry. See the separate video on the channel. Any deformed fry are killed or culled. If you cannot bring yourself to kill, do not breed koi. Any unwanted fry or culls I give to a friend who has several private fishing lakes. Top tip: a little and often in feeding fry. Spirulina powder is a great starter food for fry. It is 60% protein and a very fine dust, ideal for fry. If you overfeed, you produce green water, but that's not a bad thing, as it's all full of food for the fry. I buy mine off a well-known auction site. There are other videos on the channel dealing with feeding fry, so please check them out. Good luck.